Good morning, everyone. Okay, so today I just want to try and sort of fill you in a little bit more about how things start off when you have your lessons, and how things progress on and progress on and progress on, just so that you're building your skills. Part and parcel of that, building your skills, you might find your instructor starts to talk to you about things like commentary driving. Now, initially, and you'll see by the videos as we go along, because they will change as I'm going through this little section. When a learner gets into a car, start off with, they've never had any driving experience at all before, and in their head there's so many things they've got to deal with, what pedals are doing, which way they're going, etc, etc. And realistically, if you sort of think about it, the biggest thing that's on their mind is they don't want to crash, so their line of sight is very, very limited, should we say. We use the word limited, on the basis that they're literally just looking right in front of the car. They're not really interested in anything that's going on around them, because they are just so focused on what's ahead of them, and realistically that's possibly just the one car that's in front of them, that they miss so much. But as you become a little bit more experienced, you're a little bit more comfortable with the gear changing, the controls of the pedals, your steering, your position in the road and stuff like that, you start to see more things. Your line of sight opens up, your vision gets a bit wider, then you start sort of paying attention to things that are maybe behind you, to the sides of you and stuff like that. And your instructors will always try and want to get you to use your mirrors and stuff like that, and initially it's really, really hard to get you to do that. You're so concentrated on everything else that actually trying to add in mirrors, I mean, that's taking your eyes off the road. God forbid, you don't want to not look where you're going. And we do appreciate it. It's very hard for a lot of you to just literally move your eyes away, to look at the speedo, to look at the mirrors, etc, etc. God forbid looking left or right, that's really taking your eyes off the road. But it does come, and you just got to give it time. If your instructor's doing a good job, they're going to be keeping an eye on all of that for you in the first place anyway. They're going to make sure that you're safe, and you've got to put your faith in them, that they're good at their job, they know what they're doing, they know they're looking in the right place at the right time, and they're not going to let any harm come to you or to any other road user, sort of thing. Okay, so just trust in them that they're doing their job and they know what they're doing. They wouldn't be qualified to do the job if they weren't capable of doing that. They've undergone 3 tests before they become fully qualified, to make sure that they're capable of looking after you, looking after everyone else that's on the road. So just have your faith in them that they're going to do what they need to do to keep you safe. Okay, but as you progress, obviously your skills are going to grow, your line of sight is going to grow, you'll be relaxed a little bit more in the car, and they do then get to the stage where they say about commentary driving. And commentary driving, some people, unbeknown to them, are doing it in their heads anyway, but actually verbalizing it can make it so much easier. So what I'm going to try and do, I'm going to do sort of 3 or 4 different stages, and they're only going to be sort of short little clips, just to show you sort of what would happen possibly for a learner on first few lessons, and then what happens as they start to get relaxed, a little bit more comfortable with the pedals, and then as they grow on the roads and stuff like that, and the level of intensity of the roads grow with those skills. Okay, so you should always be expecting on your first lessons or so, an instructor's probably going to take you to a car park. It really depends where you live and how busy your roads are locally that are around you. For us, where we are, we're quite restricted. There's hardly any quiet roads left anymore, so we may have to take you to a car park. I, for one, try and keep you in there as short as time as possible, but ultimately it's your call as the pupil as to whether or not you want to stay there for an hour, 2 hours, 2 lessons, 3 lessons, 5 lessons, whatever, because until you're comfortable with just the basic controls of the car, the steering, the moving off, the stopping, you're not going to want to get out there where there's other cars, there's pedestrians, there's cyclists, etc, etc. So give yourself that time to make sure that you do feel comfortable yourself before your instructor sort of pushes you out onto sort of roads where there are cars in either direction and stuff like that. I know they'll want to sort of move you on a little bit, because you know it's far more beneficial to you to be on a road and gaining proper road experience than it is going round and round and round in circles in a car park. But by the counts, it's your call at the end of the day. If you ever feel out of your depth, let your instructor know. Don't just sit there and suffer in silence. Your lessons should be enjoyable, and if you're not enjoying it, step it back a little bit, you know, before you can then progress on again. Because once you're comfortable with things, your lessons will progress quicker anyway. If you're always feeling tense and stressed out and stuff like that, learning won't take place as quick. Okay, so what I'm going to do just a few short videos. One of where you should sort of expect to be when you first of all start going out on roads. You know, you're not going to go out first lesson and go, hey, let's go hit a motorway. You won't have the skills to do it, and by all accounts, you're going to be putting everyone else at risk by doing something like that. So start off on the basics. You might possibly find that you'll be going round and round and round in a little square, just to get used to turning lefts and turning rights, stopping and starting, moving off, making sure that just the core integral parts of driving, the initial safety stuff, is covered first, and then it will just increase and increase and increase. So I'm going to show you roughly, you'll see from the next clip, of the sort of roads they're possibly going to be taking you on to start off with, and then we'll step it up to where they're possibly going to take you next after that, and then so on and so forth. What I'm going to do with regards the initial bits is sort of try and talk you through of what you're possibly going to be thinking in your mind, maybe as a learner, first few days, and then as the lessons progress, I'm going to try and get in that commentary driving as to how well you can vocalize stuff, how actually by talking it through can really be so beneficial for you, for understanding what you need to do with the car, where you need to be looking, why you need to be looking in certain places at certain times, and if you can continue to build that commentary drive, whether it's done in your head at a later stage, but you'll tend to find that every full license holder, not that they know they're doing it, but they are doing it, they're doing it in their head, will commentary drive inside their head at every journey that they do. You know, they know they need to slow down, they know they need to check their mirrors, they know they need to put a signal on, they know they need to change gear. That's all happening inside their head. But whilst you're a learner, if you can vocalize it as well, it does just tend to make clarity, not only to you, but it also lets your instructor know. And obviously you can do this on your driving test as well. You can vocalize it during your driving test, and an examiner is going to be sat there thinking, great, brilliant, yeah, they're checking the correct mirrors, they're putting the signal on, and you vocalize the fact that you're checking the mirrors, you've put your signal on, you've reduced your speed, you've selected an appropriate gear, you've positioned yourself in the road and stuff like that. They know you know what you're talking about, and you're not just sort of winging it and hoping that you're getting away with it, sort of thing, for your test. So let's just carry on. And as I say, each different stage of the video clips that you'll see coming up, the roads that I'm driving, you'll get an understanding of sort of how it's going to progress as you go through your lessons. Okay, welcome back everyone. Right, so we're just about to drive off on the first clip of the roads that you should be expecting to be taken out onto, possibly if you've done a car park first, just to get used to how you make the car move off, how you can steer, how you can change gear. So your instructor's taking just a nice quiet road, something like what you can see in the clip. And realistically, you want to, if you can, try and get somewhere where there are no parked cars initially. What you're now trying to gauge, possibly moving from a car park onto real roads, is that your position in the road. You know, where the curb is, where the white line is, and for you to be trying to get yourself central in your lane. All right, ideally, no parked cars. Sadly, you know, it is what it is on today's roads. There's hardly any quiet roads anywhere anymore where you can just go somewhere it's completely empty. But it should be something like this, possibly an industrial estate or something like that. but it'll give you an idea. And your instructor's possibly going to get you to do loops of a little sort of square area where you can sort of go left, 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 left. And then when you've done that, possibly they'll reverse the route and they'll go right, 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 and just get you used to practicing it again and again and again. Possibly making mistakes where, you know, you've slowed down too late, or you've slowed down too early, or you've selected the wrong gear when you move off, or you haven't looked correctly to the left and the right. All those little things, and they're going to be covering you to make sure that it's kept safe. But it will allow you, by doing repetition routes, to be able to keep building those skills and try something different next time, until hopefully you've got to that stage where it actually feels quite comfortable. Now, one of the sort of downsides to that is, as much as it feels comfortable, it's comfortable because you've got used to the area, because you've done it again and again and again, so you know what to expect. So as it then starts to move out from those areas and it gets to somewhere new, things are going to make mistakes again. So the unfamiliarity is there. But eventually what will happen, just through repetition, realistically all roads are the same. All the core principles of what you're going to do when you come to the end of the road, or you're turning into a road or stuff like that, it's exactly the same. It's just in a different position, that's all. But you'll just know, your brain builds up this skill to understand what you're going to need to do when you get to a junction, or when you get to the end of the road. And it doesn't matter whether it's here or whether it's in a different country, the same sort of skill set is still going to be used. And all that happens is that you just expand on the intensity of the level of the roads, whether they're busy traffic, fast moving traffic, etc., etc., but the same core principles are still there. So just going to show you literally as we move off from here just what you're going to expect to do, and I'll start to add where initially, from a commentary point of view of what you'll be thinking in your head but not verbalizing, and as the clips progress and we move the intensities of the road, I'll start to vocalize it, how it would be done by an instructor. Ultimately, he's quite good at, you know, doing commentary driving, as to the things that that's going on in their head, that a lot of learners don't sort of get to realize how much is going on inside an instructor's head or a full license holder's head when they are driving. And you'll get to realize how much stuff possibly you're missing as a early days learner, because you're not looking at what is possibly the relevant stuff. You're just looking at the stuff that's not going to cause you to have a crash. But as you gain your skills over years of driving, is that you'll filter out all the unnecessary stuff and you'll deal with the stuff that is relevant, that could cause you an issue just generally out on the road every day of the week, sort of thing. Okay, so I'm going to move off from here, just going to check it's all safe all around me, and I don't necessarily need to give a signal, but I am one of the ones that will give one irrelevant, just because I think it keeps me in the habit of doing it. So I've moved off. I'm checking in my rear view mirror to see if anyone's followed me. I can see there's pedestrians on the other side of the road. Now, as a learner, you're not going to care less about those pedestrians. They're on the other side of the road, and all you're doing is looking straight out the front window and looking where the road is. And you're going to be tootling along this road at silly little speeds initially, and your instructor will have given you possibly a command of either at the end of the road come to a stop, or at the end of the road turn left. But for you, all you're going to do as a learner, more than anything else, is more than likely just come off the gas pedal, and you're going to get the end of it, you're still looking straight out the front window, you're not paying any attention to what's going on to the side of you. You're going to get to the end of the road, and the instructor's going to tell you put your clutch down and brake, and that's what you're going to do. And then you're going to get to the end of the road, and then you're going to start sort of looking. The instructor's going to tell you about selecting first gear, and then have a look and say when it's safe, carry on. So you creep out of the road, you turn left, you've missed a signal. Yeah, all that sort of stuff happens on your first few lessons. But the instructor's covering you, and he's making sure that it's safe. So at the end of this road, again, the same sort of thing he's going to say to you. Okay, at the end of the road, turn left. You might mention this time, you know, try and see if you can get a signal put on as well. So you're going to put your signal on, but you've missed the mirrors. But the instructor's checking those mirrors for you. And to try and get you possibly to position a little bit better in the road. So again, you've come to the end of the road and you've stopped again. So you find that first gear, and then you creep on out. Now we've got parked cars on the left, so you creep on out. There's nothing coming that's going to affect us currently, and then you're going to go up through the gears. You're not bothering even checking any of your mirrors or anything like that. You're just literally driving just to make it to the end of the road. That's pretty much what you do. All right, but those skills will grow, and how those skills will grow is that you'll start to learn that, right, I can see a sign. You're starting looking out for things like signs, and there's a sign up ahead saying there's a roundabout coming up, so you're planning for that roundabout, and you're going to come off your speed a little bit sooner. You're going to sort of be able to have time to sort of look to your left and right, and you still might miss a signal, you still might miss your mirrors, but you've sort of looked at it, it was safe for you to carry on going. But as the lessons progress, and it will keep progressing, you'll get to the stage where you introduce your mirrors. Now we're turning left, so we check our centre and left mirror, and we'll signal, and we'll reduce our speed, and we'll look into the road, and we'll turn in. Okay, and then you'll get used to adding in your rear view mirror, see if anyone's followed you in, and you'll start making progress a bit quicker, and you'll go up through the gears a little bit more, and it's all these little bits, and you'll keep doing this possible repetition of a loop, so you get comfortable with the roads, and you'll then get to that stage where eventually you're positioning yourself in the road correctly. As you come to the end of it, you'd have checked your mirrors, you'd have put a signal on, you'd have selected the appropriate gear, and you'll get to that stage where literally everything is in place before you get to the end of the road, and if it's safe, you're just going to keep going. You won't get to stop every time. You'll know whether you need to stop, whether it's an open junction or a closed junction, and you'll stop if it's necessary. This one here is a closed junction. I can't see fully to the left or the right, so I'm going to stop. Still checking my mirrors and signalling, still selecting the appropriate gear, which is going to be first because I know I've got to stop, and I'm going to creep myself out gradually until I can see it's safe. So there's nothing coming from my left, so off I go. Now, as that progresses on a little bit further, I'm building my speeds to the relevant speed for the road. I'm still doing all my mirror checks, but I'm doing more mirror checks now because there's junctions on the left here. Somebody could pull out and I might need to slow down. I want to know who's still behind me. I'm still checking my mirrors nice and early because the roundabout coming up, and I'm putting the signal on, positioning myself where I need to be in the road, selecting an appropriate gear, back onto the gas because nobody's coming, but I've done everything. I've got my mirrors, my signal, my position, my speed, and my gear. Again, same thing, checking my mirrors, signalling, coming down through the gear, looking into the road, and turning in. Okay, so it all gradually builds. So from there on in, you've got comfortable with it all, everything's all in place, and your instructor will see how you feel. They'll see whether you want to move it out further or whether you want to carry on just still building up that skill in the same area, and based on, you know, how you feel and how you feel everything's going for yourself, the choice is up to you whether you push it out. So I'm going to push us out to the next level. So the next clip coming up will be us on slightly different roads, where possibly the next level will come. Okay, so we're back again. Stage 2, you've done some really quiet roads, really quiet roads, hopefully, with hardly any parked cars. If you can get away with it, that's getting you just used to turning left, turning right, not really having to deal with too much with regards parked cars, oncoming cars, etc. But at a certain stage you're going to say, right, well, okay, that's good, I'm comfortable with that, I need to move on further. So possibly your instructor's then going to take you again to some still relatively quiet roads, but quiet roads that have got parked cars, because let's face it, every road's got parked cars on nowadays, allowing you to deal with those parked cars, but there's obviously that potential that there's going to be oncoming cars as well, so that you're going to get meeting situations. And this is now trying to build your skill as to whether or not you should go, whether you should stop, whether you're looking for places to pull in, how you position yourself so you can see out round parked cars, all that sort of stuff. Okay, but it's also the introduction of more mirror use because obviously you want to know that nobody's overtaking you before you move out to overtake a parked car. You're going to still be dealing with rear view mirrors before you're slowing down, before you get to the end of a junction, all that sort of stuff. So again, whilst I'm driving around, I'll do some talk through of the things that you should sort of be looking at to do either in your head initially, but that you can build that skill on commentary driving, that you can vocalize later on as you get really, really comfortable with everything else, and how it will benefit you with regards to you moving on from there, sort of thing. So I'm going to just do a couple of loops, okay, again, just to continue the process on. What your instructor might well do at this stage as well is, because you've got comfortable doing some loops going left and doing some loops going right, they may well introduce the fact that you'll do some lefts and some rights. So you're mixing it up a little bit, so you're dealing with different situations that can come up just in your general driving. Okay, so I'm going to move off again, just checking it's all safe around me. Again, I'm still giving a signal just in case anything I missed that I might otherwise have helped somebody out with, sort of thing. So end of the road, I'm going to turn left, so centre and left mirror signal, position in the road, onto the brake, and a rolling first gear selection. So I'm ready to go, because I've had to stop because it's a closed junction. I've got a car coming from my left and I can't pull out because of the parked cars over on the right. So I'm just holding back here for now, just letting them come through. Just checking my mirrors left and right, see nobody's come alongside me whilst I've been waiting, and then I'm moving off into the road. Okay. So again, I'm going to be taking the next road on the left. So I can see the car coming towards me, they're indicating right. So I'm going to let them go in first because I'm further back. I can just ease off the gas first, check my mirrors, give a signal, and then just off my gas, gently on my brake, and turning into the road. You notice there I was looking into the road as I turned into it, and by looking into a road it's going to allow you to give your information to the brain that tells you how much steering you need to give. If you're still looking out the front window all the time, you're not really letting your brain know to let your hands know how much to steer, and then you tend to either overcook it and you go too far out over the white line, or you oversteer and you end up aiming towards the pavement, sort of thing. Okay, so again, end of the road, I'm going to turn left. So mirror checks, signal, thinking about my position in the road. Okay, it's a nice tight junction here, so I want to get nice and slow and get that move all the way around for the direction I'm going. I'm now checking in all directions, and we've got 4 ways that traffic can come to me here, so before I proceed I want to make sure it's fully safe all the way around there. Okay, so I've got parked cars on the right to deal with this time, and there's parked cars on the left. Now I can see there's a crossroads sign on my left here, so behind this lorry there could be a car pulling out of that junction, so I'm just being cautious. So I'm checking my mirrors, I'm going to signal left, and I'm going to turn left. Again, looking into the road, parked cars both sides, so I want to keep my speed relatively slow because any car door could open up, and I'm sort of splitting myself in the middle of this bit of road that's left available for me. This time I'm going to go right, so I'll check my centre and right mirror, I signal right, and my position is close to the white line in the centre of the road. Okay, so come to the end of the road, I've got parked cars to my right and left, and I can't see past the parked cars on my right, so I'm going to creep out just gradually, constantly looking left and right until I can see it's clear for me to proceed. And again, taking the centre lane of this bit of road just in case anyone steps out in between the cars or opens a car door. End of the road, I'm going to turn left, so again mirror checks, signal, position in the road, and again car coming from my right, so again I'm waiting, just having another double check to see if it's safe both directions, and then proceeding on. So there's lots going on, but this is still relatively quiet roads. Yeah, still doing the relevant checks that I need to do, so centre and left mirror, signal left, off the gas, bringing in the brake. It's a tight junction, this one. So again, I'm looking into the road, turning in, and taking off the steering as is necessary. Check my rear view mirror, see if anyone's followed me in, and up through the gears. So what you're going to start thinking of is, by talking out loud, you're going to express what it is you're actually going to need to do. Now, I've said about the mirrors and stuff like that, but you want everything. By the time you become a fully competent driver, you're talking about everything and everyone. And realistically, you don't shut up. And that's why we end up doing it in our heads, because it's, well, you drive everyone nuts if you just carry on talking about everything you're doing when you're driving. But it is one of the reasons why drivers get tired. And as a youngster, you probably don't appreciate it when your parents take you out on a journey and they go, oh, I'm shattered, you know, I just want to sit down for half an hour, relax. And it's because they're dealing with so much. So let's just add on some of the things that just on these quieter roads I'm also having to do. So I'm going to turn left here, so mirrors, signal, looking into the road I'm turning into, and turn into it. And I've got a car coming towards me. I might need to slow down, so I check my rear view mirror. Okay, I'm going to take the next road on the right, so this time I'm checking the centre and right mirror. I'm going to give a signal, and I'm thinking about my position in the road. So I've just reduced my speed. I'm looking into the road. I can see parked cars on the left. So as I come into this corner, I also want to check my right mirror, because somebody might have come down the outside of me, like a cyclist or a motorbike. And as I move out around those parked cars, I could take somebody out. So I need to be checking additionally on top of what I would normally do for just standard turning into the road. So mirrors, signal, position. My speed and gear has been selected. Speed is 0, gear is first, and I'm looking left and right. Turn into the road, checking my rear view mirror, see if anyone's followed me. End of the road, I'd like to turn left. So again, centre mirror, left mirror, signal. Think about where I'm positioning it at the end of the road. Off the gas, braking, clutch down, first gear wasn't rolling. Time to look into the road, park car on the left, so I'm checking my right mirror as I go out around it, and I'm going to take the next road on the right. So again, rear view, right mirror, signal, off the gas, looking into the road, nothing's coming towards me, turn in, back on the gas, check my rear view mirror, and clutch down, second gear, clutch back up, back on the gas. End of the road, I'm going to turn right. There's a parked car near the end of the road, so I'll still check my mirrors. Signal right, come out round the car, but I'm slowing down there because somebody could turn into this road right at the last second. If I'm going slow, at least I could stop quickly if I needed to. End of the road, I'm looking right, I'm looking left. I've already selected my first gear, and I'm just creeping out until I can see it's safe, and off I go. And again, I'm going to take the next road on the right. So again, centre mirror, right mirror, I can see a car wanting to emerge. Now I'm going to let him out because I know this is a tight junction, and it would just be easier for me to let him out than to try and get out around him, especially the fact that I know there's always parked cars here. Okay, and I'm going to take the next road on the left. So again, centre mirror, left mirror, signal, off the gas, covering the brake. It's a tight junction, this one, so I'm going to drop it down into first gear, turn into the road, and I'm just going to pull in on the left. So again, centre and left mirror. Don't need to give a signal, not on this one, there's nobody around. And to a stop, handbrake on and into neutral. Okay, so that's sort of the next stage on. You're dealing with roads with cars and with parked cars and the potential of oncoming cars. So your instructor's going to play with you with that for a while, again, until you feel comfortable and you've been able to stop and start and move off and get your position in the road, check the correct mirrors, correct signals, etc, etc. Then they're going to take it a stage further again. Okay, so they're going to get you out and still dealing with lefts and rights, but on this stage it's possibly going to be at an increased speed and possibly with more traffic on the road. Okay, so I'll take you to the next stage. See you in a minute. Okay, so we're moving into stage 3 sort of thing. Slightly faster roads, and ones that are obviously going to involve oncoming traffic from behind us, parked cars, stuff like that. Okay, involves things like traffic lights, roundabouts, but we're not going into full-on sort of dual carriageway stuff, major A roads and things like that. That will come at a later stage as you then get more comfortable with this next section of roads. Okay, so I'm going to drive on and literally let you see the sort of thing you should be expecting by this type stage. Okay, and time scale from day one to where you are now, that can be anything. Some people will learn very, very quickly and feel very, very comfortable with it. Others are going to take as long as it takes, but again, only deal with what you feel comfortable with. Don't struggle, you know. If you're not feeling comfortable with it, let your instructor know. They'll step it back a little bit until you do feel comfortable, and then, you know, you can say to them, I'm happy to progress on. Okay, so we're going to move off from here when I can get out, because I've now just been blocked in. Okay, so looking around me, just moving off, quite tight in here. Okay, so end of the road, I'm going to turn left, so I'm checking my mirrors, giving a signal. Can't really position too much here because it's only a single lane road. But already there's the difference level here. We've now got pedestrians, you know, we've got cars coming in both directions, people crossing the road, we've got cyclists around, we've got people on scooters. It's a next level of danger when it comes to driving, and we need you to be comfortable with just the basic stuff before we start introducing all this as well, because otherwise it would just be information overload and you guys would really struggle with it. Okay, so moving into the road, seeing the car coming up behind me, I'm just increasing the speed, get myself to the speed limit of the road before I get there, before he gets to me, so I'm not impacting him at all. So I've got a parked van on the left up ahead, so I'm just checking my right mirror as I need to move out slightly to pass him, but I can see pedestrians left and right. Again, they might want to cross the roads. Got parked cars on the right. Again, luckily now nothing oncoming that's going to affect me, but I've got a traffic island in the middle of the road, I've got more pedestrians either side. Again, they can cross the road at any time. So it's a next level of awareness, all right, and it's just all about you being able to take in just the normal stuff of driving, changing gear, keeping an eye on your speed, as well as dealing with what's coming towards you, what's parked, what's pulling out of junctions, all that sort of thing. And that can get quite daunting initially. An instructor may need to assist you with your steering, if you just feel like, you know, you're going to take out the curb or you're too far over to the right, and he might just want to pull you back. Don't ever fight your instructor. Yeah, they're there to help and assist you, and you might not realise it yourself that you're too far out of the road, and they're just sort of guiding you as to where the better position of the road might be. You know, let them do it if they need to. It's all for your best interest, sort of thing. They're sort of trying to show you where the best position of the road would be for you to be driving along at. Okay. So as we're carrying on down this road, I can see roadwork signs up ahead. Yeah, I can see amber lights flashing. So I'm preparing myself mentally for traffic slowing down, workmen in the road, and obstruction in the road possibly. So I'm checking my rear view mirror because there's a vehicle behind me. I want to know that if I need to stop. So we've got temporary traffic lights. So I'm checking my right mirrors that are going to go out, but I'm prepared to stop in case they change. Okay, so out we go. Just keeping it relatively slow for the fact that workmen that could be there, and checking my left mirror. And people argue, why are you checking your left mirror? Well, we've got electric scooters and electric bikes on the road now that will keep up with the speeds that I'm doing, they could quite comfortably be coming down the inside of me. So I need to check left before I move left. I need to check right before I move right. And that can even be going around bends, you know, not just parked cars and stuff like that. It could be anywhere. So we are making sure that we're aware of what's going on around us at all times. Okay. So again, the introduction of the additional roads brings in the introduction of traffic lights. Ones you've got to be prepared of. When they're green, there's only one way they can go, back to red. So again, you're always preparing that you might need to stop. Never speed up towards a set of traffic lights. Always just back off the gas pedal as you get close to it, and you'll get to that point of no return where actually you can go back on the gas, because you wouldn't stop in that last bit of distance anyway. So I'm now keeping a safe following distance between me and the car in front, and again, this is important. If he slams on his brakes, I need a safe stopping distance. So you now have to factor in that as well. Again, another roadwork sign. Checking my rear view mirror again, see who's behind me, how close he is, just in case there's another obstruction in the road. I can see a cyclist up ahead, so I've got to make sure I give him space as I overtake him. Remembering the rules on that have changed. It's now up to 30 miles an hour, 1.5 metre gap between me and him. Over 30 miles an hour, it's a 2 metre gap. Okay, so again, they're added little extras. Now I can't leave at the speed I'm doing. I can't leave the space, but he's turning right, so I'm just checking my mirror in case I need to slow down, in case he needs to stop. And then as he's cleared out my way, I can go back on the gas pedal, increase my speed. Now see a roundabout coming up, so I'm checking my rear view mirror because I know I'm going to be slowing down. I'm going to turn left at the roundabout, so I check my left and centre mirror, think of where I need to position myself on the approach to the roundabout, add in a signal, and look at the traffic that's coming towards me. So I can go out behind this silver car, so I'm adjusting my speed so I can continue to follow him rather than stopping at the roundabout. There was no need for me to stop, so I've just continued on. Okay, again, checking my rearview mirror as I've entered the new road, building my speed but keeping a nice safe following distance between me and the car in front. Now, as you progress with your lessons and the roads get busier and there's lots more to deal with, when you get to that stage of building full-on commentary driving, you're virtually talking about everything. You're mentioning the speed limit of the road, you're mentioning the style of the line that's in the middle of the road, you're mentioning junctions left and right, traffic lights, whether you've got pavements, whether there's a cyclist, whether there's a garage coming up that people can pull out from, cars on the left, cars on the right that are parked, all that sort of stuff. And you don't really stop talking at all. And it's being able to fluently say what's happening. You want to be saying it before it happens rather than after it's happened. It's too late. Once it's gone, you know. So on this, just the last couple of minutes of video, I'm just going to show you roughly what sort of level you want to be at with your commentary. Now I know it can detract from what you're actually doing, and it might make your driving worse initially as you start to build up a skill of commentary driving, and that's fine as long as it's safe. And it's not something that you learn overnight. It can take weeks and weeks of going out and driving and just adding in another thing and another thing and another thing. Just give yourself to build that skill up. You know, you might just want to mention your mirrors initially, and then you might want to mention your mirrors and your signal, and then you might want to mention mirrors, signal position, etc, etc. But then you'll start adding in other bits of the road that's ahead of you and stuff like that. Okay, so currently we're on a red light. I'm still checking my mirrors because the cyclist just come down the side of me. Okay, there could be another one coming, so just before the lights change to green, I'm just going to have another quick check left and right. It's safe, there's nobody alongside me, and I'm giving this cyclist enough space. I'm getting close to the island in the middle of the road, so give them enough space, and then just check my left mirror to see that I've cleared them, and then I can come back over into my lane. So we've got a junction on the left. We're still on a 40-mile-an-hour road, so I'm building my speed. I'm now at 37 miles an hour, fourth gear. Another junction on the left, just checking my rear view mirror. Okay, traffic island in the middle of the road, there's quite a few along here. Some pedestrians on the left, they might want to cross the road any second, so I'm being aware that they might cross, so I'm checking my rear view mirror. Car in front of me is turning left, so I'm just backing off the gas, giving him time to turn in. Another one turning in from the opposite side of the road, and the line painting lorry hasn't really given me any signals as to what he's doing. I've got no brake lights, I've got no indication, so he's possibly just slowing down for traffic ahead of him. But again, I'm checking my rear view mirror as that happens, because I don't know what he's going to do. I want to know how close the car is behind me. Okay. Got oncoming vehicles, motorbike on the right, a couple of cars coming. I can see a roundabout up ahead of me. I'm going to turn right at the roundabout. So checking the centre and right mirror, popping on the signal and thinking of the position I'm going to take up in the road. We've now got a reduction of speed. We're down to 30 miles an hour. I've selected an appropriate gear, looking to my right, nobody's coming around, so I'm going to progress onto the roundabout, checking to my left, signalling left and looking left as I exit. We've got two-way traffic, and we've got a hill coming up with traffic lights on it. Checking my rear view mirror, see who's followed me. I can't see who's coming over the brow of the hill. There could be somebody trying to overtake an oncoming car, so I'm just easing up the gas as I come up the hill, just till I can see over it, and then I can increase my speed again. Another set of lights, pedestrian on my right, but they're nowhere near the traffic crossing. Another roundabout sign coming up, so again checking my rear view left mirror because I'm going left, taking up position and signalling as I come up to the roundabout, reducing my speed and selecting an appropriate gear. Currently it's 2, and I'm looking to my right where there's an opportunity for me to carry on, so I'm just going up ahead. I've got slow moving cars, so I'm just checking my rear view mirror again, keeping a nice safe distance between me and the car in front, because we're all going really slow, and just allowing a space that should a car come up behind me too fast and hit me, I've got a gap between me and the car in front of me. Okay, so traffic lights up ahead that are changing to red. I've got pedestrians on the left, motorbike who's literally wanting to overtake me, so I'm going to move left slightly, give him space to come past. There he goes. Obviously I checked left first, see there was nobody in the bike lane. Okay, so the first set of lights gone back to green again, but the second set is still red, so I'm just easing up, checking my rear view mirror. I'm checking around me as well, just to see whether there's bikes or whether there's cyclists or stuff like that that could still be coming down side of me or whatever else. See a pedestrian approaching the pedestrian crossing, so again it's whether they get there before I get there, whether they push the button, whether the lights change to red. So again, I'm just still checking around me, selecting my lane for the direction I'm going, just giving this white car enough chance to get over to the right so I can continue on. Lights are green but could go red at any time, so I'm just preparing for that in case. Point of no return, so I'm onto the gas, just checking on my right and left, see nobody had jumped the lights to the sides of me. Another set of pedestrian crossing, nobody there, so there's no real reason for me to slow down. But up ahead I can see another set of lights that are green. I can see pedestrians on the left. We've got hazard lines in the middle of the road, 2 cycle lanes and pedestrian paths either side. We're at 40 mile an hour speed limit. We've got a bus stop on the right. Again, lights are red, so I'm just easing off the gas and checking my rear view mirror as I come down in my speed, and I'm just letting the car roll. I'm in 3rd gear currently, and I'm just adding in the brake. Clutch goes down and I'm rolled into a stop, just checking either side of me to see if anyone's come alongside me, and I'm in neutral, handbrake on. I've left a nice tyres and tarmac gap between me and the car in front, so that should I get shunted or he rolls back or he breaks down, I've got the facility to be able to go out round him, or if somebody did shunt me, I've got a safety buffer between me and the car in front of me. Okay, so I know that the traffic coming from the right are the last set of cars to come out, so my lights are going to change any second, so I can get myself prepared. Clutch is going down into 1st gear, my engine automatically restarts, and again before I move off, just checking to my left and right. I can hear a motorbike coming down the side of me, I'm going to let him come past first. There he goes, and off we go again. Again, just quick check left and right, see nobody's jumping the lights. Still on a 40 mile an hour road, hazard lines in the middle of the road, and up in the 4th gear, again keeping a nice following distance. See a garage on the left and a set of traffic lights, so people could emerge from the garage. Again, if they try and jump into the gap that's in front of me, I'm just checking my rear view mirror just in case there was a car right on my tail and I needed to slam on the brakes. And I'm also using that mirror check at the same time to deal with the traffic lights should a pedestrian be there. Parked van on the left, so I'm checking my right mirror as I move out slightly in the road. solid white lines appearing in the middle of the road, so there's no overtaking in either direction. And again, as we look round the bend, see there's a sign for elderly people in the area. Got a lot of care homes around here. At the traffic lights, I'm going to turn left. So mirror checks, signal, reducing the speed in gear, looking into the road and turning in. So join the road, see if anyone's followed me. Up with the speed, I'm going to go right at the end of the road, so checking centre and right mirrors, signal, positioning the road near the white line, looking to my left and right. It's got a Fiat 500 to the right of me, and come past and we're clear in either direction, so I can proceed on. Set of shops on my left, car emerging from a junction on the left. Pedestrians up on the pavement by the shops, and there's cars parked in the left that could want to reverse out. Not quite sure what this Astra's doing. No signal to pull in, but I'm being aware of anyone else who might have reversing lights on that might be wanting to reverse out of those bays. Okay, going to take the next road on the right. So checking my centre and right mirror, popping on a signal off the gas, covering the brake. Second gear's already selected, looking into the road, turn in, and then take the next road on the left. So again, centre and left mirror, signal, look into the road, turn in. Park car on the left, park van, checking my right mirror as I move out around him. Bend coming up, so I'm going to stay over to the left hand side of the road as I go around the right hand bend. Just allows me a better line of sight. I'm using the parked car on the left's reflection on the side of the car to see if there's anything coming towards me. Okay, and I'm just going to pull in on the left here. So centre and left mirror check, pop on the signal, and just pulling in alongside the curb. Okay, so there we have it. It's a different level as you start getting to become a full license holder and you want to give a full commentary drive. That gets even more and more and more advanced the further you go on in your driving experience and skills, where literally you could just talk to yourself on everything you do and for every journey you do, and you wouldn't have stopped talking. There is so much you can deal with, but you'll get to that stage where you're going to filter out the unnecessary stuff. Yeah, there may be two junctions together and you're not going to literally check the mirror behind you in case somebody pulls out the first one, and then the next junction's only 20-30 foot ahead and you're going to check the rear view mirror again. In the short space of time it's going to take you to get from one to the other, that first mirror check would have been relevant for both junctions. So again, you'll filter out the stuff that is necessary and you'll filter out the stuff that, or you'll bring in the stuff that is unnecessary, whichever way it goes, to allow you to drive in a safe manner and keeping everyone else around you safe. Okay, by all accounts, it's not for everyone. No, some people just absolutely detest commentary driving. They find they can't do both. They can't talk about what's going on and deal with everything else as well, because you've got to be able to deal with everything else as standard. The additional stuff, it just helps with anticipation and planning of things that are gonna, what's he gonna do, what should I do, etc, etc. Where should I be looking, why should I be looking there, etc. But the more you do it, the more you'll find that you'll become a more relaxed driver, and everything does run a lot more fluently, because you then start looking further on down the road, and whilst you're looking on further on down the road, it allows you to plan for things that are the potential hazards coming up. All right, but have a go, see how you get on with it. I mean, we don't expect you to be doing it on day one, but if it's in the back of your mind of things that you're possibly looking out for where you're going to be heading, even if you're not verbalizing stuff, it's things in the back of your mind that you can be thinking about, well, I need to be checking out, or I need to be checking that, I need to be looking out for this, and you'll probably find it will help assist you when it comes to you learning to drive. All right, let us know how you get on. Thanks very much for watching.